Who was F.W. de Klerk, and what was his role? Have you ever wondered how a country can shift from a system of oppression to a democracy? The story of F.W. de Klerk is a key part of that journey in South Africa. F.W. de Klerk served as the last white president of South Africa from 1989 to 1994. His presidency came during the final years of apartheid, a system that enforced racial segregation and discrimination against non-white South Africans. De Klerk was born into the Afrikaner community, a group of white South Africans of Dutch descent. This community had long held political power in the country. As president, de Klerk faced a nation increasingly isolated from the world and filled with internal unrest. Instead of continuing the oppressive policies of apartheid, he made a significant choice. He decided to negotiate with anti-apartheid leaders, including Nelson Mandela. This decision was monumental. De Klerk unbanned liberation movements and released Mandela from prison after 27 years. He laid the groundwork for South Africa's first multiracial democratic elections in 1994. This was a major step toward majority rule and universal suffrage. However, de Klerk's motivations were not entirely rooted in liberal values like equality and justice. His actions were also pragmatic. He wanted to manage the transition in a way that would protect the interests of the white minority, particularly the Afrikaners. He aimed to control the pace of change to avoid losing all economic and political power. This cautious approach meant that many human rights abuses from the apartheid era were not fully addressed during the transition. De Klerk's partnership with Mandela was essential for a peaceful shift to democracy. In 1993, both leaders were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts. Yet, de Klerk's legacy is mixed. From a liberal viewpoint, his role can be seen as a reluctant but necessary step toward ending an unjust system. Still, his initial support for apartheid and his careful approach to reform reflected limits in his commitment to liberal ideals like human rights and racial tolerance. After apartheid, de Klerk briefly served as deputy president in a coalition government led by Mandela. However, he later withdrew due to disagreements over the new constitution and how to handle past abuses. His complex legacy highlights the challenges of moving from an oppressive regime to a liberal democracy. It shows that dismantling injustice often requires both principled leadership and practical negotiation.